Yep.
So I'm just
Interesting.
curious if that has anything to do with it. But you guys let me know what you think the motivation behind it is. Is it just like wanting the state, like the taxpayers, to know what their money's going towards? Is it, calling out the judicial system? Is it, pro death penalty type thing? I'd like to know what you guys think about it.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome. I'll give people a couple minutes to hop on in here. Some people start the video a little bit behind. Oh, it came over automatic? Good. Gosh. That would be nice. Just promoting the now live. Some people don't like some people don't like some people prefer the lives. They just wait for us to go live. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. I've seen a couple creators just recently talk about the like how mainstream media is covering the case and how unfair it is. This is, I think, another really good example of that. We were actually going to show that video as a breaking news story and decided to use it as an opening piece to open up the conversation around finances. And why I think that's important is yeah, this is an ADHD podcast, you guys. So we even plan on getting Thought Riot podcast shirts made that have ADHD on it. We think it'd be pretty funny. But as you can tell from my left turn response right there, but we thought it would fit because we've been talking about the 4chan theory. We've been talking about why Scott Green, the president of the University of Idaho, was doing daily in-person meetings in the war room. That blows my mind, you guys. Like, absolutely and totally blows my mind. I don't get it. He doesn't have a badge. He doesn't have anything. Like, Scott Green coming in the war room every day, you might as well have brought me in the war room every day. That's literally what you're doing. An untrained individual to come into the war room and give input. A war room, if you guys don't know what a war room is, it's a corporate word for essentially daily planning. Okay, so it's usually for like big rollouts in corporations, major changes, any large task that has a lot of risk involved, and you use that war room to make sure everybody's on the same page. It could essentially be just a meeting, right? So it's the daily planning meeting, aka war room. Well, they had a war room every single day, which I would expect in this investigation. I honestly, in the first 2 weeks, would expect, touching base multiple times a day. But Scott Green was in these war rooms. Okay, he was in these war rooms, like as a key person giving input, somebody who has financial liability in the college. Okay, somebody that benefits for it not being a college kid, somebody that benefits in there not being a crazed, wild, homicidal maniac that can do a quadruple homicide in from our understanding 20 minutes or less and continue on about their day. Like, this man has so much invested in the monetary aspects of this town and this university, to have him come in with that kind of bias and subjectivity, oh gosh, blows me away, you guys. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Now, then we show this video here, and this video is complaining about how much it costs to just do our civic duties. Like, oh man, I think the money stuff bothers me so much because I come from the corporate world. My entire career, I've been in a Fortune 100 company, okay, except for one company. One company, I wasn't in a Fortune 100 company, or they weren't at the time that I was in it. So I know corporate America really, 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 really well, and they all function pretty similarly. And to see how they're managing the aspects of this investigation and case while having my understanding and experience in the corporate world it just blows me away. It absolutely blows me away, because you can see it so clearly why these people would be involved, right? And is that a problem? It, like, do others not see a problem here with Scott Green feeling like he can add something to this war room?
I don't know what he would have to add. I mean, unless you're trying to say he has intimate knowledge of the dynamics between students, but that seems really strange for the president of a university. That doesn't seem normal. Other than that, like, what could he have to add? I mean, unless they're investigating a fraternity and he's helping with that, but they didn't. They literally avoided the fraternity after like the first few weeks.
He adds really great picturesque teeth, you know. He's like
Yeah.
he's picture ready at all times.
Sure.
Every single day
If
he
they
looks
need to do a
exactly the same.
surprise photo op, sure.
Yeah, maybe that's why he was there, you know. Maybe he was there for the pictures. Maybe.
The pictures.
Maybe. Yeah, so someone said, someone suggested a good angle. Could he have been there for self-promotion? Really good question. Could he have been there for self-promotion? I think it's possible. I think based on everything that we've seen from him with the book, with the, oh, I'm so great, look at me, look at me. I think it's very possible. I think that it's very possible that it could be a good faith reason that he could be there. However, it doesn't change how bad it looks, regardless of the reason. And it doesn't change him being in there and having the bias. I would love to know how much input they took from him. I would love it.
I mean, he could have not been there to help with the investigation, but just to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the reason for that, from his perspective, is to stay informed for the university, to know what they're, going to be dealing with. But I still don't see a reason for him to be involved. That's not good enough.
I agree.
He's not an investigator, and I don't think it's standard or normal, and there's a reason that it's not.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. And
a business shouldn't be a part of an investigation.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And a university is absolutely a business. If anyone says it's not, I mean, go just do a little bit of research, you guys. Just do a little tiny bit of research, okay? A university is absolutely a business, and that's its goal. And its goal, like financial goals, okay? In corporate America, there's financial goals like wanting to grow, wanting a deeper market worth, overall income. Like these are standard business goals, and universities, it's climbing those ranks and increasing your student body count. Now tell me, student body count decreases ranks, right? So how likely would a quadruple homicide with an absolute madman on the loose impact one of the biggest registration times during the year? You know when that crime happened was right when spring registration was starting. That's the biggest, most important time of any college, is the spring registrations.
Yeah. So I could see him, wanting this solved very quickly and to be a part of it to help mitigate any losses to the university.
Yeah, then there's a
Um,
ton of evidence towards that too, and I know a lot of people argued with me, like a lot of people argued with me when I brought this up before. But based on my research, the overall student body numbers went down, and they went down significantly after the crime. I know what the numbers say in the book. I know what the numbers say on the university website. However, it doesn't take into account that for those of you watching, there are 5 different campuses that this university has. 4 other campuses are not in Moscow. So maybe their count didn't go down for the entire organization, which again, there's a lot of leniency to push, sway, move, and change numbers around, because they also include online students. Sometimes they also get transfer students from other countries that they get to include in there. But the numbers locally dropped significantly. There were people that did not come back. There were people at the university that left that Thanksgiving break, you guys, and never came back.
Why are we on this topic? Or aren't we going to talk about the money based on the court and everything?
Yeah, I mean, this is just my rant for the opener, why money's important, and just some of the monetary aspects of this case that can cause bias, right? I think the big thing that we're looking at in any of our investigations, whether we're talking about 4chan, which we are going to talk about 4chan tonight, you guys, we should probably open with that. But when we're talking about 4chan, when we're talking about the university, when we're talking about the locals, when we're talking about Bryan Kohberger, when we're talking about the court, when we're talking about the investigation, literally every aspect, I think that it's important to always look at the areas where money can be impacted. Shoot, I didn't say thank you to Bon, member for 5 months. Man, that commitment. We appreciate you. You are awesome. Always love your comments, always love your input, and we are super glad to have you here. And I apologize,
Yes, thank you,
forgot
Bonnie.
to say that. And Steve coming through hot with what is it, a super sticker or just a $20?
It's I think a super chat, or I mean, it just
doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you, Steve. We're super happy to have you here. Hit that thumbs up button on that, and that's incredible. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Steve. We really appreciate the support. So are we going to talk about the money on the
We'll do the 4chan first.
Why is it short?
No, it's what premiered yesterday, and I think it needs to be talked about in the same
Yeah,
type of
4chan
way.
just sounds like something we'd go on and on forever about. So
Okay, I mean, we can talk about this first if you think it's better.
are you gonna play the news video or no?
No, I already did that.
Oh, you did play it on here?
Yep.
Okay.
Remember when we were editing, I wasn't sure at the end if I was going to actually include the entire video or not. I did include it. So all right, what do we got here? I gotta go to the restroom, but yes, so follow the money always. I'm telling you, you guys, I'm telling you, I think that my percentage of crime rate is real, okay? And there's nowhere online where you can say, hey, what percentage of homicides are caused by money and or dope? And dope is, you know, drugs, illegal substances, which is another form of cash, of money, okay? And I personally believe 90% of all homicides are money or drugs related. But that's just not a stat you can look up. You can't go online and say, you know, tell me what relatability all the homicides have in the US, you know. So I think money is very important. And there's also a really important factor to Scott Green. Scott Green is a new university president trying super hard to pull them out of a money pit issue, which, like, I don't get it, because every university was struggling. Like, COVID ruined everybody. All right. But anyways, there's a lot of reasons why he's not willing to let that go, you know, to not accept a decrease in year over year metrics. Like, there is a big reason for him not to accept that.
Yeah, definitely.
You should. Oh, this is 10 pages. You better.
What?
Oh,
No, it's not.
Gifted 5 memberships. All right,
Yes.
lady coming through. We appreciate you. Are you gonna?
Yes, I'm gonna start reading this. Thank you, lady. Appreciate that. Hooking up people with some memberships. Okay, so I'm gonna start reading this. And it's not actually 10 pages. Really, there's just 2 full pages here. And then there's some things down here that show us like how much Ann Taylor makes and stuff like that. Some of you may have already seen this, of course, or had it read to you, but I'm just going to read it real quick so we can go over it. And this is based off of that clip. So that news agency, which I don't remember what it is. It's on John Webb YouTube channel. They made that request to see how much had been spent on this all so far. And they came to the total of like $900,000 had already been spent on this so far. And I don't know if they're even including the investigation or the $1 million payout to like the university, the $1 million that the cops received. Like, it's a lot more than $900,000, you guys. There was $2 million given by the state of Idaho, 1 million university, 1 million cops, all of the investigation costs. Plus, I'm assuming in addition to that $900 they calculated, because I believe they're including Bryan's incarceration and the public defender's salary. I don't know if they're including Bill Thompson's salary, but he makes quite a bit of money too. So, response to public records requests. A public records request is submitted to Latah County Clerk on February 26, 2024, and was subsequently forwarded to this court to review and a response. The request was to examine and or copy records pertaining to the total cost to date of the case against Bryan Kohberger, including both defense and prosecution and any other costs this case has required, pursuant to Idaho Code Section 74-102. This response is specific to records of the Latah County Judicial Department, and more specifically, records for which this court is the custodian judge as defined in Idaho Court Administrative Rule, 32K3C. First, Idaho Code Section 74-102 does generally give the public the right to examine any public record of this state. However, Idaho Code Section 74-104-1B exempts from disclosure records contained in court filings or judicial proceedings, the disclosure of which is prohibited by or under rules adopted by the Idaho Supreme Court, but only to the extent that confidentiality is provided under such rules. Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32 governs records of the Judicial Department, examination and copying, exemption from, and limitations on disclosure. Rule 32I-2E allows a judicial record to be sealed to preserve the right to a fair trial. Sealed court records are not subject to examination, inspection, or copying by the public. Idaho Criminal Rule 12.2 addresses a defendant's ability to file motions requesting additional defense services. Rule 12.2D allows the judge presiding over a case to request that the administrative district judge appoint another judge to consider and conduct any hearing on the motion and to decide on the motion. On January 6, 2023, this court issued an order appointing resource judge for this case. Thus, a separate judge is tasked with decisions related to any defense motions requesting additional defense services. This court has no knowledge of the costs associated with the defense of this case, nor is this court the custodian judge for records pertaining to the total cost to date of the case against Bryan Kohberger. This is to ensure that any decisions made by the court are not in any way influenced by the cost of the case. On January 13, 2023, the resource judge tasked with evaluating and ruling on any defense requests for services issued an order sealing documents pursuant to the Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32I-2E to preserve the right to a fair trial. Therefore, all documents and materials related to the costs associated with the defense requests for services are sealed and exempt from disclosure at this time. Additionally, the Judicial Department does not maintain any records related to the costs of the state's case. In addition to this response explaining why the Latah County Judicial Department cannot provide the total cost to date of the case against Bryan Kohberger, attached is the above-mentioned order appointing resource judge and order sealing documents, ICAR Rule 32I. Additionally, the order approving appointed counsel's hourly rate, which is not a sealed document and is contained in this court's case file, is attached. Signed, Judge C. John, 28th of February, 2024.
Is it just me, or when they start complaining about money, does this feel like a last-ditch effort to try and like really stick it to him? A lot of the, I don't know if you guys noticed this, okay, but a lot of the, listen, we got a 100% true statement from a friend who has a cousin whose best friend's brother's mom's friend said this thing, and it's totally true. Those have been being reduced, those kinds of statements on mainstream media.
Yeah, we're really only hearing the echoes of the past ones, like the one about, the cameras and Kohberger supposedly having some girl's nudes. Like, that's because still echoes of the past. Yeah. And we tried to disprove the possibility of that. And it's like, immediately.
Not disprove, but give it objectively. I think that's one thing that we do that you guys aren't going to get at mainstream media. Because, like, again, if we're looking at mainstream media, do I watch it? Yes. Absolutely, I watch mainstream media, but I watch it with the understanding that people own that, and the people that are presenting the news are bought and paid for, right? It's still interesting. I still want to hear about information and cases on mainstream media, but I still need to be objectively knowledgeable in understanding why the news is being presented in this way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one area that we don't have to follow the mainstream media, you know. Any of our supporters, you guys, or any financial backing that we have, we're given a blank check, free reign, you know. Talk about it objectively, talk about it scientifically, talk about it openly and honestly. And that's our goal. So when we talk about this stuff, I feel like we just don't have to follow those same rules. I think this is really interesting because this is basic judicial system requirements from us. This is what our taxpayer dollars go to. There's nothing new here. There's nothing extra. What they try doing is like sharing how much a public defender makes. Look, all public defenders make a ton of money, you guys. They make a lot of money. There's no way around that. Now you got to remember that Ann Taylor isn't from this county. She was brought over to this county because she is death penalty certified. If you don't think they're not going to pay additional for that, look, lawyers are business people, okay? You're going to pay what their worth is. And she's going to get paid more than your average public defender for having to make that trip.
Right.
For having to make that trip. So, it's interesting. I think this is really interesting to me that they try using it in this way.
Yeah.
I would be interested to go back and look at other like serial type enders, and did we see complaints about how much it costs for them?
Got me.
Because normally when people complain, they complain with an outcome, right? So when I come up here and I come and talk in front of you guys and I'm complaining about our judicial system, I'm complaining about how one-sided mainstream media is, I'm complaining about how bad this investigation looks, I'm complaining about all these things, I'm complaining about them with a plan to move forward, right? And that goal is to talk about what could be changed to move forward to make it a better situation. So when they bring this up, like, what is your goal here? Just to complain and paint a picture? Or is your goal to suggest that we just stop doing trials altogether and we just start killing people?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just start like doing the firing squad on anybody you think could have possibly committed a homicide.
Yeah. The state
Like,
thinks you're guilty. Pow.
Yeah. Well, and most of the public thinks you're guilty, so let's just kill you and get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The way it was presented, honestly, just felt really weird to me. I think it's okay for taxpayers to know what their tax dollars are going towards. Like, that is needed. You should know.
Yeah.
However,
I make $200 a day. I know a lot of people that make $200 a day. It's not that much.
That's $200 per hour.
Or $200 per hour.
So her salary, if
Are you sure?
It's look at the document that's in front of you.
Okay.
Ann Taylor makes $200 per hour, and Jay Loxon makes $180 per hour.
That's obvious. I don't know how I mixed
if you multiply $200 per hour by 40 hours a week by 52 weeks in a year, it's $416,000.
Yeah, I was just doing math in my head real quick, and I was thinking, I don't know where I got that wrong, but I was like, wait, $200 a day, so 8 hours divided by that's only like 20 something or $28 an hour or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so her annual salary, like gross income, correct? Or is it net?
Yeah, annual.
Okay, but which one's before or after taxes?
Net.
I don't remember right now.
Net.
Okay, so and I don't know if I'm guessing they're
after
not.
Taxes doesn't matter. You don't ever take into account after taxes.
Okay,
because everyone's taxes are different. So
okay, so $416,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is how much she's making on this specifically.
Which this is what she's on full time, to be clear.
And she's a DP certified attorney, one of only 13 in the state.
Yeah. Yep.
and she had to be outsourced.
Yep. Yep.
So
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying it's not that much. I don't think. I don't think 400K a year is that much for with specifications of this manner.
Okay, somebody told me gross is before taxes. That's what I thought. But it's okay. Whatever.
Net is your
I feel
total
so
net.
not adult right now.
Well, because you don't ever talk about the how much someone makes after taxes. That's not ever a thing.
Right.
When you ask how much someone makes, they don't ever tell you after taxes.
I really like this comment, so I'm going to highlight it for a second because yes, that she's being paid that much money.
Yeah.
To play 52 card pickup.
Yeah.
With 100,000 decks of identical cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think it's like, I don't know. I heard so many people talking trash about it, and I think that's super unfair. Like, what is the cost of justice in a quadruple homicide capital DP case?
Yeah.
That has so much national attention. You know, you have to have a very specific attorney for the job.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's outside of what would be considered normal. And you know what's interesting too is it's funny. They highlight how much the defense is making,
but not the state.
Yeah, when the state. So Bill Thompson, we covered this a while ago, you guys, and we got Bill Thompson's income and we got Ann Taylor's, and Bill Thompson is making almost 100,000 more than Ann Taylor is. Now again, you have to take into account all the factors with Bill Thompson, and that is going to be he's the leader of that that attorney's office, the for the state. He's like the managing attorney is essentially what you could call him. But he's making a whole lot more. So again, when you're looking at a manipulation piece like this, of course you're going to highlight the defense and not the prosecution. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, when we pulled that up, you know, it was really easy to find last time when I do a simple Google search. I don't really see it easily this time.
Yeah,
so
we'll pull it up. It was like 560K, or I'm sorry, I think it was 650K. I'm pretty sure it was 650K.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And I can't remember where I sourced it from. Hopefully I saved it in my notes, but I'm not going to go digging right now. But yeah, I do think it's interesting that they're specifically highlighting the defense and mentioning nothing about the state whatsoever.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. This is our civic duties, you guys. This is our requirement. This is not something like we can complain about this, sure, but it's not going to go anywhere. This is what taxes is all about. So it drives me up the wall. And when I was watching that video too, I was thinking how manipulative. They submit a document because they know how many people look into those documents on there to back a story, a puff piece that they're covering. It's so wild to me, you guys. Like it's wild to me that you submitted a document that took people's pay and hours away so that you could create a media piece that's manipulative. So you could create a media piece that is a character assassination on the defense team, when, like, shouldn't we be here making sure that our judicial system is fair and objective? And listen, Bryan Kohberger could be guilty. So obviously guilty. We could have video footage of him doing the crime, and I'm going to be saying the same things. The same things. This is what keeps us safe. This is what keeps our judicial system in line. This is what keeps the system running. This is everything. This is not something you get to complain about, you know? It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, what I felt like they were getting at was like trying to anger the public that the trial is taking so long to get here.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, the longer they extend this, the more money it's costing you taxpayers. So get angry. They need to speed up this trial, which feels super weird to me. Like, don't you want it done right? Like, if that's what everyone involved feels like is right and the best way to get justice, then why try to incite
What?
you know, some kind of anger from the public that it's taking so long.
No, I agree with you.
Because money is the easiest way to get people mad.
Especially when the average death penalty case roughly takes between 5 and 6 years, is I think what we looked up. I could be wrong. I'm kind of saying that off the cuff, you guys. I could be wrong here. But I'm pretty sure the average death penalty case takes double the amount of time that we're currently expecting this case to take. So it's a little strange, right? It's a little strange. And again, just to be very clear here, you guys, I hope, and everyone hates when I say this, I know you guys do, for the people that think he's innocent, but I hope Bryan Kohberger is guilty, okay? I want him to be guilty without a doubt. And the reason why I want him to be guilty without a doubt is because of the downsides of the outcome of this situation if he's not the one. I don't want a fifth victim. I don't want a random person to be killed because he happened to drove a white car. I don't want our society to be at risk of another quadruple homicide from a maniac that's out there. I don't want these things. So I want him to be guilty. That is the best case situation. However, I cannot, within my own right mind, just hop on a bandwagon and say, I want him to be guilty, so he's going to be guilty. Look at all this evidence. It all looks guilty. I can't do that. I can't do that. I'll be laying in bed at night worried. Gosh, did words I say add to the jury potentially being one-sided and putting this man to death? Like, I just can't do it, you guys. I couldn't do it. So but I hope he's guilty. I really do. I really hope he is proven without a doubt guilty.
Yeah, well, okay, Jerry said a better way to say it is, if he's factually guilty, I hope they convict him.
I mean, yeah, but facts aren't real. Facts are subjective.
Okay, but it's our language. So if in truth he is in fact guilty, yes, I hope that he is convicted.
Yeah. I
But
just have a
him
pet
being-
peeve around
I think-
facts because everyone throws the word fact around like it automatically requires, like, look, because it's said as a fact, it's true, and that's not true. What makes things real is evidence proving they're real, not because you're saying they're real, you know?
Right.
So
yeah, there has to be enough evidence to prove without a reasonable doubt. But what scares me is him being guilty also, and then
or getting let out.
Let out
it's
because
scary
there's
no matter
a ton
what.
of reasonable doubt. So that's why I say, like, the best thing for everyone involved is him to be factually or truthfully guilty, and be convicted. So
I agree. I agree 100%. So,
but obviously we don't want somebody who's innocent to be convicted. Like, that's part of the reason we're doing what we're doing here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I just walk through life with the understanding that facts are real to the person that's sharing them. They are not real to everyone else. What makes somebody's fact real is having the evidence of proving that it's real, you know, multiple times over. When you can prove that your own personal fact can be proven to be true in a repeatable fashion, then it becomes a actual factual Thought Riot podcast stamped facty fact, like the factiest of the facts, you know.
He's going off the pure scientific definition, guys, not social definitions, not opinion definitions.
Oh gosh, don't get me started on
Science.
that. Yeah. What else is there but science? Gosh. That's all there is science. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Truth is the ultimate, is basically what you said, right? Facts are subjective, truth is objective.
Yeah, facts are subjective and truth is objective. Because like everyone in the world is looking for the most factiest fact, you know. I think that's a given. Everyone wants to know
facty facts.
Everyone wants to know, like, you know, ultimate truth. So yeah, anyways, so coming back on this, I think the monetary gains are really interesting. You know what else is interesting that I don't understand where this is coming from? This idea that that Scott Green is a billionaire. He's not even a 10 millionaire, you guys. Do you think this was said to try and like make him appear like a big deal? I feel like that's going on here. Like, I feel like he wants people to think he's a big deal.
I do think he wants people to think he's a big deal.
A billionaire,
or else he wouldn't have wrote that book. Are you kidding me?
A billionaire wouldn't care at all. I've met a couple billionaires in my life, and they are a totally different breed of people. Even literally just having a regular interaction with them was way different than anybody else I've talked to.
Well, I think once you're a billionaire, money becomes something that's actually can be dangerous. Like going around saying I'm a billionaire, like there's no point.
Well,
and it can be dangerous. And yeah, they're above that. There's no need to state that. Like,
yeah, they're above that.
They have so much money, they don't even know what to do with it at that point.
Yes, they're above it, and they're used.
Why is it even sitting there?
Because I need to talk like this.
So put it on the other side.
So, but with billionaires, it's not even about the money at that point. What it ends up becoming about is the fact that they're used to getting whatever they want. Like, do you guys understand the difference between a billionaire? If I'm remembering correct, there's either 100 or just over 100 billionaires in the world. Like, listen, you're talking about billions of human beings and 100. Of course they're going to get whatever they want. And I can tell you Scott Green ain't on that list.
No.
He's not even a 10 millionaire, okay? He's not. He's just not, you guys. And here's another example. If you think Scott Green was a billionaire, do you really think that he would be working in this manner? Billionaires can make what Scott Green is making in his annual salary in 2 seconds on the stock market. 2 seconds.
Somebody just said he's a broker.
What type of broker? Like that matters, the type that you're talking about. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. It's not my information.
Yeah,
I've never seen it before.
What you mean by broker? A broker of what? Because a broker is essentially just a middleman of
online it says he's worth 2.9
yeah, but
billion.
You guys, I can make my worth online be $2 or $3 million.
Oh yeah, like okay,
anybody can.
Okay, I'm not here to say this name to cause any kind of drama. I don't care if you like or dislike this person. It's only for what I saw when I looked up their net income. And that is Andrew Tate. When I Googled his net income, when all that crap was going down, you had so many different
websites saying that he was a billionaire when he wasn't.
Saying he was a billionaire. Mm-hmm. And he was not. Like,
yeah, he wasn't. The court documents proved he wasn't. I think what his actual net worth ended up being was just over 100 million, which is a lot of money. But he's not a billionaire. That's a big difference between a billionaire and a millionaire. But yes, that is a great example. So why there's this idea that they're pushing Scott Green to be a billionaire, I don't understand. I do not understand that, you guys. I just this I feel like this is one of those situations where take a step back for a second and think, why would a billionaire accept a position that requires all of his time, probably sleepless nights,
He moved away
probably
from his
stress,
family.
probably everything else that comes with it for, pocket change. $420,000 annually is pocket change to a billionaire.
Well, and he moved away from his family,
Yeah.
like his kids and everything, to take that job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting, you guys. Again, I'm not calling anybody out, but every bit of information should always be verified. And that's why we argue for the police to always be verified. Always. You verify everything. There's no such thing as an expert that has all the facts. That is a lie. We are all human beings and we're all full of it. In fact, right now, everything I'm saying you shouldn't believe. I'm definitely full of it and definitely have no idea what I'm talking about. I can't even tell you the words that are going to be coming out of my mouth 2 seconds before they come out of my mouth. They just happen. All right?
Okay. Things just fall out of your mouth.
Yeah, that I'm not going to get into politics, but every president's salary is the same. It doesn't change per president. I'm pretty sure it's been that amount for like the last decade, which is kind of messed up. You'd think that they would adjust it for inflation,
You would think, but most of the time the presidents are already very, very wealthy, so probably doesn't matter that much.
I mean, there's only been a couple presidents that have actually received their annual salary. Most of them don't allow themselves to be paid. So they just put it in somewhere else. There's only been a couple presidents that have accepted their salary.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. All right, you guys. So we're going to get into this video now that's really important, and honestly, we should probably watch it. It's 10 minutes. Okay. All right. So
but I want to say really quick that how much this trial costs, as long as, I mean, it sounds like they got some checks and balances situation going on where they have another judge, a resource judge, determining what should be allowed to be spent for this case, so that judge has no bias in deciding things like that, which is good. That's really good that there's someone separate from the situation in a totally different county in Idaho deciding what can be spent here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's been fair, in my opinion, so far, as Ann Taylor's gotten a whole investigative team. It sounds like it's been fair. But I just don't agree with the way the things were stated in that news broadcast. Like, this is going to cost you guys so much money, and they're just extending it. Who knows if it's even going to be in 2025? By that time, we're going to have spent, over $1 million on this. Well, there was $2 million already spent, like, right in the beginning. Yeah. Why aren't you bringing that up? So I don't know. It felt yucky. I don't think you can put a price on justice like this. As long as it's being done right, and nobody's like taking advantage of the situation, trying to make money, for themselves. I think every expense should be used. And if they need help from, other places, then I believe they can get it. Just like, the state got those grants.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. I'm curious how Idahoans feel about it. So if any of you are watching or, watching this on replay, definitely leave us a comment and let us know.
Yeah. And
Because I'm open to those opinions. Like, even if you don't agree with me, I want to hear how you feel about it.
Well, of course, yeah. Everything we say is objective. We don't want no whatever tunnels I'm having an ADHD moment.
Echo chamber?
Yeah. But and just to be clear, you guys, like a billionaire is a billionaire based on net worth, not the company that they manage. That's separate, and that's multiple owners. I think that's where a lot of people think there's way more billionaires, because they think because somebody started a company that makes them a billionaire. That doesn't. That is not how much them personally have a net worth. Most of those companies are public companies, without getting too much into finances. I'm obsessed with finances, you guys. I love it. But anything math related, I love. But you got to be able to separate a person's income from their company, and that is going to determine if somebody's a billionaire. Now, you're going to find lists online that include companies and say, like, Jeff Bezos is worth this much money because Amazon is worth this much money, and all this stuff. But it that's not how it turns out. Amazon is a public company. So
once you go public in the stock market, it's not just yours anymore.
Yeah.
And it's doesn't go towards your total worth.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So for everyone watching this, I try really hard not to do this. I try really hard not to watch our videos on live stream, because one, I'm also not embarrassed to say this, but we are looking to make money. This podcast is here to make money. This podcast is here to one day make enough money where we can do this full time. All right. We're a long way away from that. But that is our goal. So when we post videos, I want our videos to be looked at separately, and engagement on there. So likes, comments, things like that. So I try not to watch them on live stream. So if you get a chance, you guys, I would really appreciate it if you go to this video and hit the like button. If you're watching this on live stream and you didn't watch it by itself, I would really appreciate it if you left a comment on there. Comments do a ton. So even on this video, this live stream you're watching now, if you hit that thumbs up button, I really appreciate it. And then after the stream, the comment section will pull up, not the chat that we're talking on right now on the right hand side, but the actual comment section under the video. And yeah, I'll post the link here for you guys.
But it's also a bit redundant watching your own videos. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, this is important though. Like, I don't feel
is.
like everybody can take part in this conversation without hearing this. So
Sure.
we're going to watch this real quick, you guys. This next update that we have for you is actually something that you sent me today that I want to talk about. And we've talked about this a couple times, actually, just not on the show before. So there have been some content creators that have brought out this 4chan post, okay? And we're going to get into 4chan for anybody that's new here. The last time we put out a 4chan or frat boy topic, we had like half the subs that we have now. So, there might be a lot of new people here that haven't heard of it or didn't watch that video. But on this 4chan post, whoever is doing it, let's start the conversation like that. Whoever's posting this wants you to believe that it's Jack S.
Yeah.
Showalter.
Hoodie guy.
Yes, hoodie guy. And he says, I've watched long enough to see how this works now. It might get screenshot, but by tomorrow, ain't nobody going to care anyways. No one will probably believe it anyways. That's fine by me. I was trying to look after the girls that night and was supposed to give them a ride home. They ditched me and took off while I was talking to the bigger guy at the food truck. Can't remember his name. Anyway, the guy told me the girls were leaving, and that's why I was like, what the F? Because I was supposed to take them home. Man, if they had just let me take them home, they would be alive. Do you guys understand? I didn't go to Boise or Africa. I went home and went to sleep. was woke up on Sunday to phone calls telling me what the heck happened. It kills me to know if they would have waited on me, they would probably be alive right now. I hate myself for it. So I got a couple things to say. Y'all are supposed to be smart. Please figure this out. I've had a couple to drink. Ain't no way a K-bar could do what got done to my friends. More than one person, too. The law got the wrong driver on purpose. Where you think a sheath like that could come from? Major pain. So I don't believe any of it. And when I'm looking at these things, okay, my first thought is there any information in here that isn't so obviously known and covered by mainstream media? No. All of it is very important mainstream media topics.
Yeah.
Every single piece. There's nothing in here that is like, oh yeah, this is Jack. I had some additional information. No, he used the mainstream media topics to not only try to prove that he is who he says he is, but then he also leans on your empathy by saying, you know, I hate myself for it. I've got a couple drinks in me. That's like, that is Hollywood movie stuff. Oh my gosh, I hate myself. I'm going to go drink. And you know what I mean? That's trying to play on those human emotions to get you bought into what's being said here. But there's nothing being said here that's any different from anything that we've seen. Nothing.
Yeah, it's most likely somebody trolling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But like, was there ever a time where, because in that it says they got the public driver wrong on purpose, or the private driver wrong on purpose? Like, was there ever a time where people thought it was one person and then it wasn't?
Not that I can remember, but I didn't dig into this. I just wanted to cover this because this is important to the topics we're about to cover, because there is information in the other 4chan and there are timelines and there are details where it is literally the opposite of this. And I want to be able to point out the differences in the two, right? I will never believe anything online when somebody's trying to make a plea in this way and they're using the same information that everybody else gets. Okay, if you're close to the case, then you know more. You know what I mean? You're not going to come out with just the basic of the most basic and try and troll. That's just what I think it is. That's what I think it is. There's a lot of reasons out there why someone might troll in this way too. You know, I think that you don't even have to be a horribly heinous person to post something like that. I think you could just be wanting to get attention, feel some kind of, you know, adrenaline, like, oh, they are talking about it. You know what I mean? You feel like you have some kind of power because you posted this up there. I do not think that this is jackass.
You know, we know from Dot, okay, the infamous Dot that went on all these shows, claiming to have literally been a witness to people going in the home that night or early morning and partying next door. They wanted attention. Like, they wanted to feel important. They wanted to feel, because like, I think the situation is that there's a lot of people that are feeling, you know, that have trauma, okay, that are feeling lonely, that want to feel important, that want to feel, you know, like they matter.
Everyone feels lonely. I just want to clarify that's a
but
very
the trauma
human
part is important.
Yeah, that's a very human emotion, and you know, it's very easy to get things confused. I'm not pointing this at anyone or have anyone in mind. I'm thinking from specifically like from a therapy background or psychology background, where you know, somebody that is going through something and hasn't completely coped with that yet might not even have the realization of what they're doing exactly, but they see so much attention on these people and they want that attention, but don't know how to verbalize what they're feeling. So they might make a decision to post something like this to get a small craving, get that little fill of, you know, that feeling of importance or attention. And to me, that's just what it feels like based on the things that are put in here. It's too perfect.
It is too perfect.
In a way of the trolling we've seen before. There is some intentional pull on empathy, your human emotion. There is nothing in here that proves that it's not some random person. I could hop on here and do it. You could hop on there and do this. You could hop on there and do this. If you know anything about this case, this is the most basic of the most basic information in here. So anybody could hop on there and do it. Therefore, I just think somebody that's closer to the case, right? Because I would consider Jackass the real one, closer to this case, would be able to connect those dots and know, like, why are these people going to believe me? You know?
And for one, if you really are Jackass, okay, and you want to come out and say something, drop some information about the case, and you know that stuff, why wouldn't you say what you and Maddie were and Kaylee were talking about in that video?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, there's way more important things Jack could talk about than that.
Agreed. Yep, absolutely. But I'm curious what you guys think about it. I just wanted to touch on it because I do think it's important that you guys know about it, because information is power, and knowing what to look for in this. Like, I suggest you take it, maybe pause the video and just look for what I'm talking about. Look for the very basic understanding of this crime. That's all that's in there. And then the rest of it is trying to, like, oh, I hate myself for this. You know what I mean? Like, trying to draw a connection with your empathy, which isn't right. Like, that's not okay. So whoever wrote this, if it's Jack, I tend to feel like I'm confident it's not right. But whoever it is, like, you'd get a way better reaction using your brain to have a regular conversation with people. So yeah, this just doesn't help anybody.
No,
I don't want to come off too harsh, but this just doesn't help anybody, right? Every decision is doing one of two things. You're either helping a situation or you're hurting it. There's no such thing as just staying stagnant. That doesn't exist. So I think something like this hurts a situation.
Yeah, and like you said, there's no insider information in that. Like literally not a single speck. Nothing.
No, and somebody that is Jack writing would have enough information to be able to at least prove it. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with the case. You could have gave something personal. I think anybody understands that, right? So, but check it out. Let me know what you guys think about it. That's it. All right, my friends, my Thought Riot family.
Ben Shapiro crew.
Yeah, Bren Shapiro. Listen, that's not the first time I've heard this. I've been told a few times that I sound like Ben Shapiro. I intentionally will slow down how I talk to it. It really depends on how much caffeine I've had and how my ADD is affecting me, because gosh, you guys, like my ADHD impacts me a lot. Some days you'll notice I'm having a lot of trouble like finding words. That's my ADHD working against me. So the ADHD type I have is caused by not enough oxygen going to my brain. And I don't remember what the cause is, but there's some kind of cause for it where, you know, it's not a reduction of blood, but it's not enough oxygen going to my brain. So I'm not 100% what that is. So your brain learns to like work anyways, but my brain just works a little bit different. I think mine is called like the ADHD, the Ring of Fire, or something like that.
Of course, it's the Ring of Fire.
Why?
Of course.
Why?
That sounds like your brain. So I wanted to Ray asked about like the day membership is due. It is due whatever day you start.
Yes.
So if you start on the 10th, it'll be due the 10th of every month. So whatever day you start. Is it automatic? Or can you set it up so it's not automatic?
Yeah, I think you set it up to whatever you want. I think it can be a one-time charge or it can be automatic. I can talk fast like Ben Shapiro, you guys. When I'm selling and in a really comfortable area, like repeating things that I've said before, I talk like Ben Shapiro. I've heard that so many times when I'm selling. They're like, you know, your voice kind of reminds me of Ben Shapiro. You're a Ben Shapiro fan? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. But okay, 4chan. All right. Now, part of the reason why I wanted to bring this out, and please, you guys, please, right? So if this was your first time watching it, please go hit that like button and leave a comment. I can't express how much that helps us out. Okay. There are other people out there that try and hold the podcast back. They aren't doing a good job at it, but they try to. And you guys are the ones that are pushing it forward with your likes, with your comments, and just blasting through anything that's going on,
which is awesome to
see. It is awesome because it's the people's podcast. You guys own it. Okay, we see you guys as our bosses, and we're here to talk about the topics that you want to hear. So please hit that like button on every video you like, right? Hit and leave a comment. A comment is a big deal, even if you're just leaving an emote on there. It is massive. It is huge. Just saying hello. It is a big deal to the podcast.
Fight the trolls.
It's been boosting our subs and everything else. So you know, it's a good thing for sure. But okay, so coming to 4chan, what I was gonna say is,
you know, you speeding up the video stressed everybody out.
Oh,
like Heather said she was just like had the urge to start typing gibberish on the keyboard. Everybody in the chat was so stressed and felt like everything was moving so fast.
Yeah. So
which is cracking me up.
when you need to think, there's got to be enough pauses for us to critically think. I think that's important, and I think that's why we I think it's important to slow things down a little bit, right? Because I'm not selling my opinion to you. I'm thinking through my opinion, just like you guys are doing the same. But coming to this, why I think it was so important, you guys, is because we want to put an emphasis on the 4chan posts, okay? The 4chan posts that we've presented on so far, we want those to be important because we feel like there could be worth there, because there's information in them that makes it feel like they are very relevant to the case, and they had a ton of information that was before anybody of the general public knew about it. Now, when something comes out like this, it's important not to just hop on and believe everything that comes out, you know?
Yeah.
And we've been one of the key pieces talking about the 4chan. There's been some other really good creators out there also. I know Murder Metal Mayhem has been talking about 4chan too, and they're awesome. Check them out if you can. But we've been really driving this home the best we can because we feel like there's something there. But just because there could be something there doesn't mean that there's objective fact in that. And this is one of those things that I don't think is objectively factual. If it is, we will have no way to prove that.
Yeah. There's no way to prove it at all.
No way.
And they didn't give any information to somehow that we could vet or look into to try to prove that it's true.
Yeah. Plus, there was no insider type information.
There was no insider information that could shine a new light on anything. It was all stuff from the mainstream media and asking questions, you know, like the last question, like, where do you think a knife, right? Where do you think a knife like that could come from? Major Pain.
Yep.
And I saw some people speculating, saying like, or that kind of sheath could come from question mark Major Pain. Like they're saying it's Pain that the sheath came from.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe they're asking Pain that question because Pain is supposedly the one that found it. Or maybe it's both. I don't know. But I do feel like this is somebody who follows the case and wanted to put something out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
For whatever reason they wanted to.
Plus,
I
it's
don't know.
interesting. They said like the bigger guy. Look, if you've been there for an entire year and that food truck is as popular as we know it is in the area, that's the owner. That big guy is the owner. I think you would know who that is.
Yeah. So there's a super sticker.
Oh, super sticker coming in from Truth and Translucent. Welcome, welcome. Super happy to have you here, and we really, really, really appreciate you. What is Truth and Translucent a content creator? I'll leave their stuff up. There was somebody in our chat yesterday or the day before that was Truth and something, and I just want to make sure I'm saying the right person. We always like to highlight content creators.
Yes, they have videos up.
Awesome.
From as soon as 2 days ago.
Well, check them out, you guys. Check them out. Truth and Translucent. Awesome to have you here.
I'll have to check out your videos too.
Yeah, we love having other creators on here, and we appreciate you. So welcome.
So here's a question I am seeing quite a bit is, can we trace this IP address? Can just anyone do that?
No.
And can 4chan themselves do that?
Yes. 4chan can. Okay. I'll give the rundown here. Let me see if I can show what 4chan is. I need to verify the front screen first, you guys. So hang on. Oh my gosh. That's so ridiculous. Do not go to 4chan.com. Okay? You're going to get an adult website. 4chan.com is owned by an adult website that is not 4chan, okay? It is not 4chan. Do not go to 4chan.com. This is not great.
No. You can't. I don't even know why you even considered it.
Oh, wait. How? So that's a covered person, right? Everything's covered here. Okay. I should be able to share this
I don't know why you feel the need to share it.
because I want to show people. A lot of people have asked, like, what is 4chan? Okay, I think this is okay just for a second. So there's nothing bad on here. There's no nudity. There's nothing on here. Okay. I'm not going to talk politics, even though there's politics up on the screen, you guys. So, all right, this is 4chan. Okay. Got it? This is the website. This is what you see when you go to 4chan.org, you guys. I'm not going to make it bigger. I'm not going to click on any of the links or anything like that because 4chan is that unreliable. But this is the front page. Then you have all the different 4chan boards here that you can go into. You have like paranormal, travel, music, auto, just a whole bunch. Okay. And you can go in there and talk about those topics, or you can talk about something completely different. I just wanted everyone to be able to see 4chan. So 4chan, the site we're talking about is 4chan. So the number 4, CHAN.org. All right. And when you go to 4chan.org, you're going to see this. And it just remember, you guys, it's .org, not .com, .org. But you go on there and there's all these different threads. Okay. Well, the 4chan posts were done starting the end of November up till the end of December. And there are multiple commenters on there, multiple writers. They were in the politics board is where they were. They were under politics. And you can still pull these up because there is a website that saves every 4chan comment ever.
It's an archive.
That website is for plebs, PLEBS, and that saves everything ever said on 4chan. All right. Now, on most websites, like if we had the True Crime Talk Show website and you went to that website and you were commenting and doing things on there and like, hey, what's up, Thought Riot Podcast? It would leave your IP address there, right? And there's 2 different IPs for any computer, and it would leave both. So the owner of that website would be able to see it. Nobody else can. Nobody else can see your IP address. So when these people's dudes, girls, whatever, went on 4chan. This is why 4chan was such a big deal. If you look up 4chan or 8chan or any of these chans, they are like a way bigger deal than Jackie Chan. And all of them, their servers are held in other countries. Okay. And 4chan's server was held in Thailand. So when you go onto 4chan and you're commenting on whatever, then it's saving your IP address in a different country. Because it's in a different country, our law enforcement cannot just have access to it. Impossible to just get access to it. So it is pretty secure with how it's set up. Nobody out there would be able to get your IP address on 4chan unless you clicked a link and that link had coding in it that shared your IP or background GPS location. But like law enforcement cannot just ring a ding 4chan. Hey, I need the IP address for this person. In order for 4chan to keep its integrity, they do not follow that. They do not hand information over like Apple. Apple is the same way. When the FBI is ring-a-ding-ding, Apple, what's up? I need this. Apple says, nah, sorry, can't give it to you because our customers own that information. That is theirs. Interesting, right? I hope everyone got the rundown of what that is now. So when we're going back to that posting.
Oh, since you mentioned that, actually, Heather sent me an article today that talked about how Google is going to start storing your location data on the device so that it doesn't go out to where law enforcement can get a hold of it anymore, like data brokers and stuff.
Yeah, but YouTube does. I had a conversation with Heather a little bit about YouTube and how YouTube works, because a lot of people don't understand this. Like, I've had so many content creators reach out to me and they're like, hey, we're having similar issues with our YouTube that you're having. Can you help walk me through this? And they wanted to know how to be able to pull up the actual city locations, not the IP cities, but the actual city locations, to be able to highlight, tag, and combine all the different cities. But with YouTube, everyone needs to understand that when you download YouTube, you are making an agreement with Google, who owns YouTube, and saying, yes, YouTube, you can have my real location. It doesn't matter if I have an IP address or a VPN turned on. None of that matters. I am giving you the okay to have my real GPS location, because YouTube tracks your GPS location and your IP location. And there's no way around that. There's no way around that. So that would be interesting, but people need to understand that, like, our locations, it's good. Our world is going to turn into a world where everyone's going to know where everyone's at. There's no way around that. There's no way around that, I don't think.
I don't know about that.
You can't use YouTube without YouTube getting your location.
Apple has to turn over information with a warrant, though.
No. So go back to, what was it? Was it 2006? The lawsuits against Apple. There was a big lawsuit between the federal government and Apple because Apple did not comply to search warrants. They did not comply. So there's been some kind of agreement made outside of court where they will give some information, but not all information, because Apple doesn't believe that our information from our phones should be accessible by law enforcement, even with a warrant. They believe that it is ours, that if Apple wants that if the federal government wants my information, Apple believes they need to come to me, not Apple. And Apple is very firm on that, you guys, very firm. Apple's the first company to have that rotating IP address, so that when you're online, your IP is just constantly rotating and changing. So it's relatively safe.
Hey, AR Hayes.
Hey, AR. AR is another content creator that we have stopped by our channel. Check him out. He's awesome. We love him. Super stoked to have you here. So yeah, looking at the 4chan posts, knowing all that stuff, you guys, and if you guys ever have tech questions, I've left it with an open invitation. You guys can ask me anything. There is no tech question out there that I won't be able to answer. None. Zero. I will be able to figure it out. All right. And it's an open invitation. If you guys have questions, you can hop on our YouTube and leave a comment. You can hop on our social media, or a big one's Discord. Okay. And I posted our Discord invitation, and Discord, for anybody that doesn't know, is just a continuation of this chat, essentially. And people post details about the crime in there. They post personal information. They get alerts when we're going live. And for everyone on there, I just posted it again. You can't join it. Discord is private, completely private, without that invite link. So make sure you hit the like button on the video, please, you guys. And there's that Discord invite link. All right. So
that's not true, AR. You work hard and you've done a ton of collabs recently. You're doing good.
The zeros and ones. So with 4chan, there are a lot of posts out there. I shared this with you the other day where there's like a whole storage of posts that have any relevance to the Idaho 4 case on 4chan, right? Actually, I think it was a whole bunch of 4 plebs, which I'm not going to share because there's a lot of really gnarly stuff in there.
Oh, it's real bad, guys.
But
I was reading through them and I was like, this is nasty. Like,
but it's important to remember everything from everybody needs to be verified. So I covered that story because I wanted to offer a story to everyone sharing why this is wrong, right? Because I think that it creates a confirmation bias and I think that's why we get thrown into a pro burger is what people have been saying, like somebody that's like believes Bryan Kohberger is innocent no matter what. I feel like we get thrown into that bucket a lot because we talk about stories that confirm a certain narrative within the investigation. And I think it's important to cover the other side too. And this 4chan post does that because I do not believe that it's Jack S. Personally, I do not.
yeah, I don't either.
There's no information that proves that it's Jack. And I feel like anybody that goes to put a post, like, you need to give enough information that people actually believe it's you, right? Otherwise, anyone who has heard about this case could post this. Not only that, but you didn't even know locals' names. You didn't even know the name, the owner of the food truck. Bro, whoever wrote that, come on. Like, it takes 2 seconds to get that person's name, and that would have made you sound more like a local. 2 seconds. That person, the owner, has done interviews and has given his name. So it just would have took 2 seconds. And all of that information was missed. And it only talked about information that was openly available within mainstream media, you know? And then I see sales tactics in there where it's like, oh yeah, poor me, feel bad for me, feel bad for me, feel bad for me, you guys, I'm drinking. So that's why you need to believe what I'm saying, which is a really poor sales tactic, but I guess a sales tactic. It feels manipulative. And hopefully I'm not wrong and it really is Jack, but that's just how it feels.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. That's how it felt to me.
That is how it feels. However, I still think there is a slim possibility it could be. Slim chance, but I think there is still that possibility. If I had to put it on a ratio, I would say like 90% sure it's not him, 10% I'm not so sure.
I'm 99.
Because do I think there's a possibility that he could drink and like say something like that and not think about needing to prove anything?
Yeah, I'm 99% sure it's not him. And the reason why I'm 99% sure is because by this point in the investigation and case, he should have been at a different phase of trauma recovery, right? Because when you read that post,
True.
he would not have been able to stop this. Even if he did walk them home, the only way maybe you could have had an impact is if they invited you in and you guys are, in the bedroom together. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you walked them home. It doesn't matter if you drove them home. Like, this happened after that happened. This happened after the driver.
Right. And they were all laying down for bed, supposedly.
Yeah, unless this post is trying to suggest that the driver is the suspect. That's the only other thing, right?
Yeah.
That driver is sus, but I think that driver's just as likely as anybody else. That's one of those videos that Get a Clue did that was pretty interesting, following the driver's drop off. That was interesting.
It was interesting because it did suggest that he lingered He did not just drop off and drive away. There was a time of lingering and watching or doing something.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the driver is stated in the Washington, PA. Not Washington.
Yep.
Pennsylvania. No.
I'm pretty sure he
It's
was
in
Oh
Payne's,
no, you're right. Yep.
Payne's
Yep,
affidavit
you're right.
from the Pennsylvania warrant.
Yeah, it's also in Blaker's, but yes. Yeah.
It's not in Blaker's.
I'm pretty sure it is. But anyways, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think it's an interesting idea. I think that driver comes off really strange. I think that driver is strange that he took off work the next couple days after it, but didn't admit that he knew about the crime. He said he didn't know that this happened multiple days after it happened and took off. It's strange.
Can you share a Discord link again? I don't know why for some people they don't work. Like almost every time I see people say they can't use the link. And then some people have no problem. Try this one. I don't know why it's funky like that sometimes.
Yeah. It's just an interesting idea because how does this driver fit in how does this driver fit within the 4chan too, if you look at the potential possibility of the driver being involved?
I mean, how about nothing to do with 4chan, and it would make kind of more sense of it being the driver with a glove on the sidewalk and a jacket in the bushes if the attack began
in the car or something. Yeah. It's interesting though that so many posts went to 4chan. It's interesting seeing how popular 4chan is for the younger generation. Isn't that interesting?
Well, I think part of the thing is that 4chan is around because the internet, you like, okay, so when I was a kid, okay, and like a teenager, you could say anything on the internet for the most part. The internet was kind of like 4chan everywhere.
Yeah.
People were saying stuff,
AOL.
whatever they wanted at all times. There was no canceling people. There was no like, you know, I don't know. It just wasn't, it was much freer of a place, much more ability to speak your mind and say what you want. So now it's not like that anymore at all. Like you have to be careful what you say, even if you're well intentioned and you don't mean something bad. You could say something and get destroyed online, you know? So
yeah,
I think
maybe
the
depending on the
place,
person, but yeah.
yeah. So I think 4chan is a place now where people go to be free to say whatever the heck they want. And it's anonymous.
Yeah.
And to troll and to be nasty and to be edgy and all of these things, to see things that you can't see on other places on the internet. You know, there's a lot of reasons for it, but it's like it's the internet completely unfiltered, which of course brings the worst. It brings out the worst in humanity.
Yeah. I agree with
The
you.
absolute worst.
It does. When there's zero accountability, you know, people definitely talk different depending on what type of person they am. Gosh, I gotta go to the bathroom again. I'll be right back.
Okay, tiny bladder.
It's diabetes. That's what happened.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I've literally only been on 4chan. Oh gosh. 4chan for true crime. And that is only concerning this case and the Delphi case. That is the only reason I've ever gone on this website. And dude, like when you look at when this crime first happened and people were talking about it on 4chan, the way they talk about it, oh my gosh. Like it's disgusting. It's the worst. It's unimaginable people could talk about people who just passed away like that. So sifting through it to find the important ones that surround the 4chan theory it's rough. It's really, really rough. Yeah. The nicknames in the 4chan posts are really interesting. And what I found the most interesting, I would like more confirmation on the other nicknames. The only one that we could confirm was E. Sigma Chi referred to Ethan as E, and E on their social media. Mads is too. You confirmed it.
Yep.
With a social media post.
Yep. On a sorority picture.
On a sorority picture. Okay. Yep. Okay. So Mads and E is confirmed so far that those were nicknames actually used.
Yep.
So the fact that those are confirmed means somebody close knew.
Somebody close knew. And again, think of, okay, let's pretend this isn't real. Then why would somebody close enough to know their nicknames do this? This is sadistic.
To blame two innocent people?
Yeah, for being friends after your friends were ended. If you didn't believe it, it's awful, dude. How likely do we think that's to happen? You know what I mean?
So I'm curious what you guys think is more likely, for some person close to the case to go on there and make up this grand story, post coordinates, talk in detail about, who these people are back in their high school days up until this point, the issues between them, the fight, and they had to have known about the fight. Like,
I think what's talking
more likely,
about,
it being real or someone making it all up?
I think this is a misdirection. I think this Jack post is the misdirection.
Yeah.
I think this is somebody who thought they were really smart. Like, hey, because these internet sleuths love to dive, I'm going to put just enough information so they care about this and go head first. That's what I get from it. I think this is the misdirection. I really do.
Oh, I also recommend the documentary on the birth of 4chan, by the way. It was interesting. But I do agree this is a misdirection. And I think that there's been a lot of misdirections in this case, like a lot. And it almost feels like, I know this may be really tin hat to some people, but I almost feel like some people are hired to misdirect. Like,
sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. But their fault is that they didn't hire me. So, because it's super obvious. It's super obvious. And it's not tin hat. Look, everybody in the world knows, okay? I have a minor in marketing, you guys. That's my minor, all right? I'm a Bachelor of Science with a minor in marketing, and science and marketing. So the person that controls the information controls the entire situation. That's how it has always worked. The person that controls the information controls history. The person that controls the information, like, people know how important information is, right? So having someone come on the online and maneuver things to their benefit is beneficial for somebody. It's just their flaw is they didn't hire me because I'm. Yeah.
Yep. Just hire Brendan next time you want to put out misinformation that sounds real.
Yeah. Well, I meant like misdirection type stuff too.
Misdirection is misinformation.
there-
Actually,
there has-
disinformation because it's intentional.
There has to be a certain amount of information that is like legitimate or comes off a certain way. A single picture of a background just isn't good enough, you know. It's interesting. It's interesting. And it's not tin hat. It is basic marketing 101. It's what you learn in the first class of marketing that you take. I don't know if any of you have taken any marketing courses, but you learn a lot, and it is very interesting. And I loved it because it is all statistics based. All of it.
I think you should create your own separate podcast that is all misinformation. And misdirection.
Yeah, but then they know your intent, so that it's pointless.
Yeah, I'm joking.
The only time that misdirection or controlling a narrative works is when people don't know your intent.
Does it pay better than YouTube?
I mean, YouTube doesn't pay. I make way more than I make on YouTube. Isn't like, I don't make it. We don't make anything on YouTube. Every single dollar goes back into it. I don't need $1 from YouTube. Nothing.
Yeah, right now, until we go full time, we would obviously like to stop working and literally only work on this 24/7.
Yeah, but that's a long ways away.
It is. It is
a long ways away. So I've worked really hard in my career to get where I am, and you know,
yeah, our cactus is starting a new podcast all on its own. If you'd like to check it out.
It is. Yeah.
And it's very factual. It's all facty facts.
Yeah.
So facty, it's prickly and it hurts.
Yeah, it'll be pretty spiky information for sure. But yeah, you guys. So okay, let's go back into 4chan, right? And this is what you were saying the other day, and I do want to reapproach it. And I do. Whose video did I watch that was talking about it? I think they probably watched our video and got some motivation from that, and they took it a little bit further. Gosh, Murder Metal Mayhem. It was Murder Metal Mayhem, and he did like a timeline of what you would read on a paper, like at this time this happened, this time this happened, this time this happened, and it was really great information. I really liked it. It was really informative. There were some things on there I didn't really know. There were some things on there that I don't think are verified, but are super interesting to take into account of possibilities. But what's interesting, and this cannot be minimized here, okay? Cannot be minimized.
You minimizers out there.
4chan. You guys need to see me, okay? You got it?
You got it, minimizers?
You got it?
Listen up.
4chan matches the original timeline given by law enforcement. It matches. It aligns. The original timeline was changed later and attempted to be buried about why, okay? If the original timeline wasn't right, then why did they give it? Why did law enforcement come out and give it? There has to be a reason why it would change, and there has to be a reason why it was given in the first place. It is a big deal. A very big deal.
It is a big deal. It makes you wonder why, but oh man, I forgot.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, what caused them to, because they literally pushed it 1 hour back. Well, let me know when you remember. They pushed it 1 hour back exactly 1 hour. Okay. It is now between what, 4:12-ish time frame, when before it was 3:12. That was the original timeline, and it can still be found all over online. And law enforcement themselves made a statement talking about it. So why did they believe that it was in the early minutes of the 3 a.m.? And what caused the change? What caused the change?
I mean, from the PCA, I mean, it says that the timeline's based off forensic downloads of the roommates' phones.
So the phones changed it.
You know what's also really interesting
Interesting.
that I've seen pointed out by...
Or did Bryan Kohberger's phone change it?
Oh, that's
Interesting.
That's a good point. But one thing that I've seen mentioned by two different creators now, which is Forensic Frenzy and Truth and Transparency, is that they had a Reddit search warrant as early as November 20th. I believe that's the date. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And didn't serve it until, like, I think it was December. Oh, my memory's failing me, like 10th. Like, oh, that's weird. A Reddit search warrant in November?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird. And who is that Reddit search warrant for? December 1st?
What would be interesting?
Wait, okay, I don't know, you guys.
What would be interesting here is, okay, the reason why there would be a Reddit search warrant and the reason why they would be delayed in completing that search warrant is because once that search warrant is complete, they would know you're on to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and here's...
It was still a significant amount of time before Bryan Kohberger, though, before they got to him.
I understand.
And arrested him, that when they actually ended up serving it.
And what's interesting, somebody left this comment. I'm really glad they did, but Bryan Kohberger was believed to have committed a quadruple homicide, okay?
Okay.
Law enforcement allowed him to drive from coast to coast, a suspect of a quadruple homicide. Do you guys understand that?
Yeah.
Do you understand the risk they put out there to the general public? Do you know how bad that would look? Do you think that could be a reason why we had the FBI come out and say, hey, him getting pulled over twice was just a coincidence? What are you guys talking about?
Right.
Oh, okay. I don't believe so. I think that it's a very big issue. And I think that's a massive gamble that, in my opinion, shouldn't have been made by law enforcement. What law enforcement could have done, that we've seen them do all the time, is pull somebody in for an interview and tell them, hey, you can't leave the area. We need you to stay within the area. What are you doing?
So I have a spreadsheet of all the search warrants, and I just wanted to look at the Reddit one real quick, because it's really easy. You don't have to dig through all of them to see them.
I personally think they pulled him over 2 times because something happened and they were losing him. I don't know what happened just before he was pulled over, but I think I wonder if they had just left a hotel, right? So let's say they're being followed by law enforcement and they just left a hotel and law enforcement wasn't ready to follow them yet. Then their tail would need to catch up. So,
so the Reddit search warrant was for Kaylee.
Because statistically, that's just not possible. That is nothing I would bet on. Okay, that is so unlikely and improbable that it is a fraction, a micro fraction of a percentage of possibility that the key suspect in a quadruple homicide just so happened to get pulled over back to back by double agencies and not get ticketed.
Yeah,
Okay,
really weird.
Officers love to ticket out of towners because it's a guaranteed pay. It's a guaranteed guilty. They aren't going to drive, hundreds of miles to say not guilty. They're just going to pay it and be done with it,
Right.
Pay it and be done with it.
So yeah, I still think there's something to that. Like, I don't believe it was random.
Of
That's
course
just
not.
no
I
way.
think you'd have to be crazy to believe that just randomly happened.
I've also heard a ton of mainstream media say that it's not random too. Like,
of course, because they know the
and
improbability.
law enforcement on there, even retired FBI saying, yeah, they were clearly on to him.
I agreed 100%. 100%. It's literally no way.
Yeah. So on the spreadsheet, it says Reddit base. So what they were looking for was basic and expanded subscriber information, location data, communications, IP data, other. This is for Kaylee Goncalves. It was issued. So remember, they obtained it. They wanted to obtain it like November 20th. They didn't issue it until the 1st of December, and they got it returned the 19th of December. And they were searching from January 1st, 2021 to December 1st of 2022. And it's only for Kaylee.
That is so weird. And I think that adds to the possibility that law enforcement didn't do a great job, because why would law enforcement hold back from pulling social media of one of the victims?
What do you mean?
They didn't put that into effect. That was on Kaylee.
It took them 10 days or more, maybe more.
Right.
I don't know. How many days is in November?
That's what I don't get. They should have had that search warrant and used it the same day.
Yeah, they should have. It seems weird. It seems really odd. I don't understand why they would. So there's 30 days in November. So yeah, it took them like 11 days.
When law enforcement reaches out to social media has a special number that they get to reach out to someone directly. Okay. They get a contact, a person immediately. It's not like they're going to get a search warrant. Hey, judge, we need the search warrant, yada, yada, yada. This is why, whatever. And the judge says, cool, sign off, right? Then the police get it and it's issued on November 30th. Then they're like, okay, we need to forward this search warrant to Reddit and wait for their customer service to get it. That's not how it works. That is not how it works at all. All social media companies have a law enforcement number. It's usually routed or connected to another number where they're going to get somebody live immediately, right away, and have that information pulled. Right away.
Yeah, it's really odd. And why only Kaylee's read it? Now, I know that Christy specifically said that Kaylee was a sleuth herself. Yep. Like, literally said Kaylee was a sleuth herself. And, her dad said that, she was looking into human trafficking and telling him about how big it was, bigger than we all know, and things like that. So it's like, did she have Reddit because of those interests? Like, did nobody else have Reddit? And why did they feel the need to look into her Reddit specifically that early on in the case and then delay? Because it takes time for the company to get back to you with that information. I mean, look, they issued it the 1st of December. They didn't get it back till the 19th, like almost 20 days later.
I mean, I think that's probably because they didn't push. It doesn't take that long to get information. It doesn't take that long to search somebody's handle and get all that information. So that's interesting. Then that adds to why I could be wrong in what I just said. What I just said could be wrong. Maybe Reddit's different, you guys. When I say social media, I myself have never worked with Reddit specifically, but I've worked with all the other ones. So Reddit could be different. I could be full of it here. Okay. You guys probably need to verify on that one. But yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, Heather, we're gonna have to look into that and put it together more. But yeah, it is interesting. It's really weird, and I'm glad somebody pointed it out because I was just trying to think why. Like, why would they do that? It wasn't for Bryan. Like it says it was for Kaylee. So
Yeah. That would have
unless
been
there's other redacted names, I don't know.
that would have been my
Doesn't
number
seem like it.
one.
What?
Right away. Social media for the victims and pull
Yeah.
all of it. Every
Yeah.
single bit of it. And this is what's interesting. This is what makes me worried that our law enforcement was doing this is, okay, did they submit a request for Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Google? Like, did they submit requests for all of those? And then the first thing that they saw on the first return of information is the direction they went, because that's not smart. That does not create an objective investigation. An objective investigation would be to gather all the data from the social media. And then once you have all of it, then lay it out and try and draw connections between the social media, right? Because if you're looking for a stalker, you're not going to have a stalker on one of your social media, but not the other. They are going to know about all of that social media.
Wait. The DoorDash search warrant was for the residence and not Xana's account? I'm going to have to look at that now. Now I feel like I need to dig through all of the search warrants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again.
I agree.
Because maybe there's Easter eggs hiding in there we didn't realize before, like that one.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's an Easter egg. I think that I could be wrong in what I just said based on the return time.
I mean, regardless,
it's a quadruple homicide. So like when you call Twitter, okay, and you say, hey, I got the handle here and I need you to pull this information, they respond saying, okay, yeah, I got you. Let me get that information. Okay, I'm going to pull it and email it over to you. You get it in an hour, not in a month.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like a really long time.
Yeah.
Especially in an investigation like this. It does seem like a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, did they send it in the mail? Like, what? You know?
Yeah.
What took so long?
It doesn't make sense. I don't understand that one. I don't understand that one.
I mean, I think I have seen several search warrants in this case that did come back same day, or at least the next day.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm 100% on that. That's not a maybe. I know for a fact, personal experience. That is how the social media works when you're trying to pull information. Fortunately for a lot of people, technology, anything is my strong suit. So, you know, I personally haven't seen anyone else out there that knows technology at the same level. So like that's been a strength when we're looking into the PCA and the investigation. But you know, there's other areas where I didn't know anything, like DNA. I knew absolutely nothing before this investigation.
Yeah,
And
I didn't either.
Yeah, I appreciate all the knowledge we learned because I literally thought DNA is 100% black or white. It's either this or it's this, and it's not. It's not that at all.
I'm just appreciative that I learned I didn't know much of anything about certain forensic sciences.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't know that like very much. Like I really thought that, like, if I had looked into this case several years ago, okay, before it ever happened, when I was just like a casual watcher of true crime and didn't really think it, too much about it, I would
Yeah.
have thought for sure he was guilty.
Oh,
There would have
yeah.
been no doubt
I
in my
mean,
mind. I would have thought everybody was a nut job who didn't think he was
like
guilty.
we said yesterday, we both thought he was guilty by the original read of the PCA. And everyone that's watching, we appreciate you being here. Please hit that like button. And after the video, leave a comment under the videos. All right. If that's one thing I could ask you to do, that's what I would ask of you guys. For all you fellow thought writers out there that love watching us, for everyone else watching around the world on all the other podcast platforms, please leave a rating, hit that thumbs up button, and leave a comment under the video. It helps us get out there with all the other podcast platforms around the world. They drive viewership by that interaction, and it's not something that I manage myself. So yeah, just doing that helps quite a bit.
DoorDash warrant obtained December 6, 2022, served December 6, 2022, returned December 7th, 2022.
Yeah.
That's how most of them are. Like, most of them are that way.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, please like, comment, leave a review if you check out the podcast on like Spotify or Apple.
Yeah, hit that like button, guys.
Do likes on comments make a difference?
I'm not sure, but I mean, any interaction helps for sure, I think it's helped manage any of the fake thought writers out there that are, trying to reduce the view time, but that's okay. All those people, my strength is drawing connections. I can 100% draw connections from anything. Look, let me where's that one picture? You want to see something interesting here?
Yeah, why did they wait till December 6th to do the DoorDash warrant? Oh, and they asked for help with the white Hyundai Elantra the same day? Okay. Weird.
Here. All right, for all you people out there that want help looking at your content, right? So, if you want to know if there are areas connected that are trying to like target your stuff, this is a great example. Okay, so what this is this is 6 different locations that I assumed were all part of one person trying to reduce the time on the podcast. And the best way to do that is to put them all on a view together, and then you can see the downtime, and all their downtimes match, where it's action, nothing for 2 days, action, nothing, action, nothing. And all 6 of these locations, it's so blatantly obvious. This is just is this 1 month or 3 months or something like that? But we were able to pull the last 6 months, and this is what I send to YouTube. Or I'm sorry, not YouTube. You have to send it to Google. This is what I send to Google with copies of the actual background GPS locations of those cities, so that nothing they do can impact the algorithm on the stream. So it's super obvious. I don't know if they're using a bot or if they're doing it personally, but it doesn't matter because they can't impact the algorithm anymore. I track this stuff all the time, and it's just from experience with marketing and research. So any of you content creators watching, if you want help, reach out to me and I'll help you with it. There's a way to find out anything. And how we figured out those 6 locations is because the average viewer time, there's a percentage of what's acceptable outside the average view time. Our average view time is 29 minutes per video for at least the last 90 days. And then those 6 locations average view time was they're trying to fix it. I can see them trying to fix it daily because it used to be 30 seconds, which, come on, that's so blatantly obvious. But then their average view time for the last week since I started talking about it has gone up to like 1 minute and 50 seconds. But look, here's the thing. The average variance that's allowed to happen within viewer times is like 20%. So anything that's less than 25 minutes, it's going to flag and we're going to be able to control it. So that's why you see that mega jump in our subs, is because we're able to submit and have all those locations not impact us. And they started using some other European location as well, but you know. So for you content creators, I'll help you if you want. I can show you what to do. You do not ever submit a complaint to YouTube, ever. No way. YouTube doesn't do anything. It's got to be Google.
All right. Well, I think we're coming to the end of the True Crime Talk Show and switching over to the members.
Oh,
and
the members.
That hat is made out of tin. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is tin.
Hang on, you guys.
He only wears tin for his hats.
Yes, indeed.
Tin covered in felt or something. Maybe beaver skin.
All right, here we go.
In Europe, they can only use 3 minutes of internet at a time, then break for 10 minutes. What?
No. Nice try. YouTube doesn't follow those, what is it in Europe? The .eu or whatever the heck it is.
What? Is that for real?
I know that there's rules in different countries, but
you can only use internet for 3 minutes?
I don't know if it's 3 minutes, but it doesn't matter because an application is not counted as internet, so it doesn't function the same. And like I wouldn't be able to pull out like trends of these locations if they were being honest, because none of these match the rest of the trends of the viewers. I can select any other location and it is way different. It's way different. So any location that follows these trends with the same amount of off days and everything gets flagged to Google every time, which all it does is it targets their parent account. Whatever parent account, that GPS location will tie it to that parent account, and then
I thought you were
they're
joking.
doing it to themselves. So.
I thought you were joking, and then Brendan didn't be like, "Oh no." He was like, "I know there's rules," so he made me think, "Wait, what?"
Yes, there really are. Look them up.
Not 3 minutes.
I have no idea how many minutes, but that is real. That is real. I just don't know how many minutes.
Internet's free in Korea. That's nice.
That is nice. In South Korea, and they also have the best like 5G network. The best 5G network.
Yeah, deposit 25 cents for the next 45 seconds.
Yes, I know one thing in life, and that is that I know nothing.
A coin thing.
You are correct. I know nothing. I don't think anyone knows anything. I think the only thing that's real is what can be proved. Hey, we appreciate you for joining the channel. Awesome, and welcome to have you. Welcome.
Yes, we're glad to have you.
Okay, you guys, did I post that? I think I did.
Is that the member thing?
Yeah, I think I did post the members video. We have a whole bunch of new members and everything, and we're going to switch over where we get personal with everybody. So hang tight in there, you guys. And everybody else, please hit that like button and leave a comment. The comments are the biggest thing. That's really what is driving everything right now, to push back against any of these locations, along with the daily submissions to Google. But leave a comment, even if you just leave an emote, even if you just leave a hello, even if you just leave a hi. That does more than you could know, more than you can know. So we appreciate you for that, and it helps us a lot. So like, comment, and then good to go. So
Yes, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining. I left the members link in case you want to become a member to join the live. It's there in the chat. But if not, we'll see you again Sunday. Wait, no, tomorrow.
And
Tomorrow,
remember, you are
9 p.m.
all Thought Riot Podcast. Every single one of you are Thought Riot Podcast. Okay. We are here to work for you. You are the boss, and we just present the content. So what you guys want and talk about is what we talk about and dive into for you. So just keep doing what you guys are doing. You are all awesome and incredible, and I wouldn't replace any of you.
Okay, have a good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
See ya.